Nestled a mile from Yellowstone National Park, West Yellowstone, Montana, a small town of about 1,200 residents, serves as a gateway to one of America's most renowned wilderness areas. This idyllic place, painted with beautiful trails and picturesque landscapes, is also home to one of the most awe-inspiring and potentially perilous aspects of Mother Nature: grizzly bears. One of the beloved trails, the Buttermilk Trail, winds its way 8 miles west of the town. Majestic in its solitude, the trail is a local favorite, frequented by residents and tourists alike for its peaceful setting. However, this tranquility was shattered one weekend. Derby, Kansas native, 48-year-old Amy Adamson, was discovered lifeless on the trail, her body bearing the horrific testament of a grizzly bear attack. The grim discovery was made by a fellow hiker who stumbled upon a scene unlike any other in the serene environs of the Buttermilk Trail. The tranquility of the trail had been replaced by an ominous silence, echoing the dreadful event that had transpired. The surrounding area bore signs of the fateful encounter, with grizzly bear tracks and a lone bear cub observed near the scene, deepening the mystery and the chilling reality of the situation. It was a grim reminder that while West Yellowstone was a place of stunning beauty, it was also a stage where the untamed, unpredictable side of nature could manifest. The residents, living in the proximity of these majestic yet powerful creatures, found their cohabitation a balance of respect, fear, and adaptation. As news of the incident spread, shockwaves rippled through the quiet town of West Yellowstone. The once serene Buttermilk Trail was now the focus of an intensive investigation led by the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office and the Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks Department. The investigators, grappling with the grim evidence, faced the daunting task of piecing together the events that led to this tragedy. Miss Adamson, it was found, had set off for a solitary morning hike or run on the trail, likely embracing the solitude and beauty of the early morning. The evidence suggested that the attack was not predatory, further complicating the narrative surrounding the incident. The fact that no bear spray or firearms were found at the scene raised more questions, underlining the possibility that Miss Adamson might have been unprepared for such an encounter. The absence of such protective measures and the presence of a bear cub suggested a probable heart-wrenching story. A chance encounter turned deadly, perhaps triggered by a protective mother bear perceiving a threat to her cub. While the investigators were delving into the specifics of the attack, the department grappled with a broader issue. Grizzly bears, a federally protected subspecies under the Endangered Species Act, had seen their populations expand across Montana. In some cases, grizzlies were spotted in areas where they had not been seen for more than a century. This expanded presence of the grizzlies, while advantageous for the bears' long-term survival, posed significant challenges for the human residents of Montana, increasing the likelihood of such tragic encounters. Residents were now living under a heightened state of alert, with reported sightings on the rise. The typically tranquil Montana life had been invaded by a palpable tension, forcing a reckoning with the wilderness that they called home. The idyllic natural landscape was suddenly painted with a tinge of dread, a stark reminder of the often forgotten wildness of nature. The dramatic event reached its zenith when the otherwise ordinary routine of a hiker on the Buttermilk Trail morphed into an unanticipated and terrifying spectacle. As the hiker followed the path, no doubt marveling at the nature around them, they stumbled upon a scene straight out of their worst nightmares: the lifeless body of Amy Adamson. This discovery abruptly shattered the tranquility of their morning, replacing the marvel of the wild with a stark and chilling dread. Evidence of a brutal bear encounter scarred the scene, painting a gruesome picture that sent a ripple of shock through the community. The terrible news spread like wildfire through the small town, replacing the familiar sounds of everyday life with hushed whispers and a communal sense of horror. Adding to the heightened tension, a separate report came in from another part of Montana. A grizzly bear had been euthanized after it had become food-conditioned and habituated to people, showing an unsettling disregard for human presence. Was this bear, now tragically condemned, the same bear involved in the fatal attack on Amy Adamson? Or was the true culprit still lurking in the heart of the wilderness, oblivious to the havoc it had wreaked? As these questions swirled, uncertainty and apprehension gripped the people of Montana. Their world, once marked by peace and the gentle rhythms of nature, was now tainted by fear and the disturbing realization of the potential dangers lurking within the beautiful expanses surrounding them. The beloved Buttermilk Trail, once a symbol of Montana's serene beauty, was now a grim monument of a horrifying encounter, an ever-present reminder of the line where civilization and the wildness of nature collide. As the initial wave of shock and horror gradually receded, the local authorities and communities sprang into immediate action, comprehending the gravity of the situation and the urgency to address it. Measures were promptly put in place in a concerted effort to mitigate future risks and forestall any similar tragic incidents. The role of navigating this delicate interface between humans and wildlife fell upon the shoulders of the authorities, who were now tasked with a daunting responsibility that carried an enormous weight. The incident precipitated a full-scale investigation, marked by a thorough examination of the circumstances surrounding the deadly encounter and an assessment of the behavioral patterns of the local bear population. In response to the escalating tensions, local authorities went a step further, strongly advising residents to enhance their awareness and to exercise heightened caution when interacting with their wild surroundings, particularly in relation to the area's bear population. Montanans were strongly encouraged to take preventative measures, including arming themselves with bear spray as a primary defense. They were also advised to travel in groups whenever possible, as a safety precaution, and to restrict their outdoor activities to daylight hours, as visibility could mean the difference between a harmless encounter and a dangerous confrontation. Residents were further asked to avoid potential carcass sites, known to attract not only bears, but also various scavengers. These sites, coupled with signs of bear activity such as torn-up logs, overturned rocks, partly consumed animal carcasses, and bear scat, were to be reported and avoided as a matter of urgency. Park and trail visitors, often unfamiliar with the subtleties of the local wilderness, were advised to adopt an approach of precautionary noisemaking, especially when traversing high-risk areas like streams or dense forests. Such measures served as a necessary countermeasure to ward off any surprise encounters, which can turn dangerous within mere seconds. In a final note of grave seriousness, the local authorities reiterated the most basic and critical advice, one that lay at the heart of their wilderness etiquette: don't approach a bear. This plea underscored the profound respect required when dealing with these formidable creatures and served as a stark reminder of their unpredictable nature. While these proactive and precautionary measures couldn't reverse the tragic loss of life, they offered a semblance of control in an uncontrollable situation. They provided a roadmap to navigate the inherent risks associated with living in close proximity to these majestic yet potentially deadly creatures. The heightened vigilance served as a poignant reminder of the precarious balance that exists between the wild and the civilized, emphasizing the critical need for respectful yet cautious coexistence between humans and animals. In the wake of the tragedy, a profound shift occurred within the community of West Yellowstone. The incident served as a somber reminder of the unspoken pact between humanity and nature, a delicate balance that demands respect and understanding. As days passed, the community started accepting the incident as a harsh reminder of their coexistence with wildlife. With proactive measures in place, the locals strive to harmonize their lives with the wildlife, understanding that every creature has a part in the grand scheme of the ecosystem. Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks Department made every effort to ensure the safety of residents, reinforcing policies and engaging with local communities to address their concerns and educate them on living in harmony with the natural world. Despite the palpable fear following the incident, the community began to perceive the tragedy as a crucial catalyst for increased awareness. An air of cautious respect replaced previous complacency, leading to a more mindful approach towards the local wildlife. The incident, while heart-wrenching, brought forth a pivotal dialogue about cohabitation with the wilderness, transforming grief into a lasting lesson for the community. From the tragedy, a resolution emerged. The community, while mourning their loss, began to view their relationship with their environment in a new light. The shadow of the incident continued to linger, not as an impending threat, but as a stark reminder that respect for nature and its inhabitants is the foundation of harmonious coexistence. In the end, stories like Amy's remind us of the delicate balance that exists between humans and the natural world. It's a poignant testament to our responsibility as stewards of our environment. We have a duty to respect and coexist with the wilderness that surrounds us, ensuring that the tragic events such as these become lessons for us all to live by. As we venture into these wild spaces, let's carry with us a newfound respect for the creatures with whom we share our world. Thank you for joining us on this journey today. We hope you found the story thought-provoking and informative. If you appreciated this deep dive into the intricate relationship between humans and wildlife, and would like to hear more stories like this, please don't forget to subscribe. Your support allows us to continue sharing such poignant narratives. Until next time, stay safe and remember to tread softly in the wilderness.